Hi, I'm Bridget Carey with your Inside Scoop, and here with me is senior writer Jay Green, who has been looking into the controversy surrounding Huawei, which makes telecom gear, and the controversy has been whether or not they could be trusted to work with American companies, because there's been accusations that their gear could be used as spy equipment for the Chinese government. Now, you've gone to their headquarters in China. I gotta know, what has been the vibe when they're faced with these accusations? How are they dealing with that?
Yeah, you know, they've faced these accusations for a while from the U.S. government, from the Australian government, and there's something of exhaustion that they have with this. They're kind of flummoxed by it. They don't quite know what more to say. They deny the accusations, absolutely, but they persist, and so I think the folks at Huawei are a little mystified as to what more they can do.
Well, what have they been doing?
Well, you know, it's a good question, right? They've been responding to questions. Congress here has certainly asked the questions. They've visited Huawei, and the folks at Huawei have said that they've answered them to the questions to the best of their ability.
And what does the government say?
Well, so the government says, some sources there have said to me that Huawei isn't really as forthcoming as maybe they ought to be. They haven't convinced folks in Congress that they aren't working on behalf of the Chinese government, and that's a fear for Congress.
Is there a culture barrier?
Yeah, I think that's actually a really big issue for the folks in Congress and folks at Huawei. Huawei has proven to be not very good at addressing these issues, and I think a lot of that stems from the fact that it's a Chinese company born in a Chinese culture, led by Chinese leaders, and they've never really had to deal with an aggressive press asking these questions or a government that quite publicly takes them to task. It's just not part of that culture.
Today's wars are being fought online. It's cyber warfare. There's been reports that a lot of hacking and cyber espionage has come from China. So what does this company have to do for our government to be like, sure, come on, work with us, we'll trust you?
And that's really the rub, right? It's really hard for any company, any individual for that matter, to prove that they're not a spy, right? It's almost impossible, and yet that's what Huawei is tasked with. Now, to be fair, as you say, there are a lot of reports coming out. The government has released reports showing that much of the cyber attacks are coming from China, and so there are reasons it should be concerned. It will be hard for Huawei ever to convince the folks in Congress that it's not a tool of the Chinese government.
Thanks, Jay. For CNET, I'm Bridget Carey.